How's it going, guys?
Good, man. What's up? How are you?
Good, how are you? So my name's Scott. I'm from Ontario, Canada. My company is called Fraser Outdoor Living Concepts. We're here at the Echo Social Media Lounge at GIE+EXPO, doing a little impromptu talk about some mechanization in your business, ways of reducing labor. I have Mike Gunn with me here. He's from Lake Zurich, Illinois, and Caleb Auman. He's from Ohio.
Yep. How you doing? Yep, Columbus, Ohio.
There you go. Sorry, Indianapolis. All right, sorry. I'll let.
He's a Hoosier, man.
I'll let each of them introduce who they are, what their company is, and then we'll start talking about what we're going to talk about.
Go ahead, Mike.
All right, so I'm Mike Gunn. I'm from Noblesville, Indiana, just 30 minutes north of Indianapolis, and I run a business called Gunn Landscaping. I'm on Instagram and YouTube at Get It Done with Gunn. So,
I'm Caleb Auman with our company's Auman Landscape. We're a landscape design build company in Fairfield County, Ohio, Lancaster, Ohio. We're out of Carroll, Ohio. All three things in our demographic there, and we have 3 full-time guys. We're a small little company.
So, like I said, my name's Scott Saunders, Fraser Outdoor Living Concepts from Ontario, Canada. Solo operator, do full design, build, installs, a little bit of lawn maintenance as well. But today we're going to be talking about how to, in this.
Hey Scott, maybe Mike, what size is your company, man? Since we're talking,
yeah,
I don't know why I even mentioned it, honestly.
So I run a full service design, install, landscaping business. We do lawn care and full service maintenance plans as well. And we have a crew about 5 on average. So about 5 in the busy season. So it goes down to just myself and a couple other guys in the winter. So and also
Talk louder.
okay, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, we'll just talk about some reducing labor, automating your business. I know, Caleb, that's a big thing that you've been really diving into recently. You've been talking about it a lot on social media. What have you implemented in your business recently that has helped you do that?
The biggest thing, and everybody's feeling the labor crunch, having issues with finding good people or retaining good people, and we're doing our best to keep our good people. So we're trying to make their jobs as easy as we can, reasonably for as hard of work as it is, but we're trying to mechanize as much as possible, like you're saying. So like, if there's a tool that we can afford or a machine that we can afford, it's going to reduce labor or replace adding, an additional crew member, like we're going to buy it. The ROI is there. The machine is cheaper per year, per month. Labor's your highest expense, right? So, even a low-paid labor is going to cost you, $1,000, $2,000 a month. That's $25,000 a year or whatever. Like, and a machine payment is not that high. And even a bunch of machines, if you were to borrow that much money, which I'm not a super advocate for, you're still, guaranteed that reliability of the machines being there on site. Not like late Charles Vanderkoy used to say, machinery and tools don't go get drunk and they don't show up hungover. They don't get anybody pregnant. Is that not PC? Maybe I shouldn't have said it. But that, and I'm quoting, by the way that my out on that's going to be, it's Charles Vanderkoy said that's quote. Yeah. But dude, that dude was dead right. And like, he was kind of ahead of the curve there as far as mechanizing and stuff like that. So you don't have the variables of labor, which can be so crazy. So we're trying to cut that stuff out or save it as much as we can.
Now, is there anything specifically that you've implemented into your business this year, like a piece of equipment or something that you've been able to reduce labor costs and have your guys that you do have working for you have an easier time? Like, is there one piece that has changed your business this year?
This year, as far as purchases go, we've probably got something that we purchased. We spent a lot of money last year trying to get mechanized. So buying, mechanical lifting tools to pick up block, stuff that we can hook onto our excavator and make it easier for the guys to pick up block. And now what we're trying to get into is actually projects that we can utilize all that machinery on better and getting out of some of the tedious labor work. Right. And that's one thing we're trying to get out of.
What about you, Mike? Have you found anything this year that's helped change your business and reduce labor costs and make it easier for you guys?
The one small thing was these vacuum lifts. I used that for the first time this year, and that was just huge. And I implemented it at the wrong time because I got it towards the end of the job. But we're lifting 24-inch by 18-inch pavers and using this deal, whereas you got 2 or 3 guys doing it and laying these pavers to get it done quickly and efficiently. using this deal, it was a one-man job, and it's run by air compressor, and so it's super simple of a machine. I think it was like $1,000, and when you talk about that versus replacing labor, that makes up for itself and easy in one gig. So that was huge. I see a couple of them around here. There's a couple different brands I didn't know about before this year, so that's a huge plus.
How about you, Scott? What are you doing?
So yeah, it's hard being a solo operator. The first thing I did when I started my business was buy a piece of equipment. I bought a Boxer stand-on walk-behind Bobcat. Again, I know you don't advocate for it, but I did. I took out a loan for $30,000 Canadian.
We've got loans on most of our machinery, so I'm not. It's the main thing I just try to stress is don't overextend yourself.
Right,
so
and
I'm not against debt that makes money.
I haven't yet. That's the only piece of equipment I have to date was that machine, and I wouldn't have been able to grow my business and do what I've done and the projects I've accomplished to 100% this date without
no
that.
doubt, no doubt.
So that was a big thing for me. I'm looking at this year coming up, 2020, possibly looking into an excavator.
Cool.
But I've seen some things. Did you see the paver laying device? It's like the front end loader with the lifter. It can lift a whole
layer of
pavers,
right? Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's cool. I'll tell you, Europe really leads the way. Europe uses so much more pavers than the North America does. But you Canadians are even ahead of us in the States. But that thing's been out a little bit, but it's finally, I think, gaining traction. And people are realizing, like, hey, we don't have to put up with all this nonsense from labor. We can mechanize and keep, and that's the thing it allows you to do. Is you buy these tools and machinery, you can keep your best people. It allows you to be more efficient. You can keep paying your best people more money instead of that pool of money for labor getting drained out into laborers. You're able to spend that money on machines, save money on that labor, and now you're able to pay your op because they're more skilled people. So you can keep more skilled people on and pay them better. And I think that's awesome.
Changing gears a little bit, I know I've implemented it into my business a lot. I know, Caleb, you've dabbled in it a little bit. Want to talk a little bit about synthetic base materials. Mike, do you have any experience with synthetic base materials?
School. I use sand. I use the inch of sand on top of the crushed 53s is what we call it in my area. The crushed limestone. So, I've been looking to implement that. My only worry with it is the lime breaking down over time with as far as the gator base goes. Is that what you're asking? Right. Or are you talking about the actual black?
Black synthetic base material. There's different manufacturers of it. Alliance is one of them. What's the other one that you guys have?
It's Gator Base, and there's a couple others. I think they just call it Paver Base is the manufacturer of it. I'm not super up on that brand, but I saw another one out here in the show, and they're using these geocells. It's that honeycomb looking geocell, and it's a rigid plastic. It's about 1.5 inches, 1.25 inches tall maybe, and they're advocating compacted subsoils, a geosynthetic barrier of like a woven geotextile or non-woven geotextile, doing that honeycomb grid, filling that. They had a dense graded aggregate in there. I could digress on like why I don't think that's a great idea, but with an aggregate in there and then doing an inch of setting bed and then pavers, and they're saying that's like vehicular rated in the right conditions with the right engineering. So that saves a ton of excavation and to get the vehicular rated. Like you don't have to dig as deep, but even on pedestrian, it's huge. And it's like one of those things like.
It helps with the drainage as well.
I mean, you got a great draining base, and which you need to make allocations for how that drains out, of course, because you make a giant French drain if it's all open graded. I've always feel like I got to throw that in there because I don't want somebody to do that and then flood their friggin' basement or something because they don't have allocations for draining out all that open graded stone. But it's crazy, that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it has to do with the actual soil type itself, too,
Absolutely.
Right? Like versus clay or, if you have a sandy loam or whatever.
Absolutely.
And that's my biggest concern is, that these new products out here now, what are they going to look like 10 years, 20 years down the road? And that's kind of why I've been waiting to get into that game.
Understand that. Yeah. And I'll tell you on the geosynthetic base end of things, we did an install of that stuff 3 years ago, maybe 4 now, and I did one small install, about 400 square foot of that stuff. And when I was amazed with how easy it went in, you don't have to dig as deep, because the general profiles, you need a 6-inch profile of base plus a setting bed, then your paver thickness. So you're pushing 9 inches deep of excavation or fill, depending on the setup of the project.
And that's on perfect subsoils.
And that's on good subsoils. Good point. Absolutely. And so, like with this gator bait, geosynthetic base is what we're trying to say, right? But on a geosynthetic base, you're now taking out that 6-inch profile, so that's less. There's a handful of ways to look at it. It's better for the environment, right? Because we're not digging as much, burn up as much diesel fuel, all that kind of stuff, less labor, and you're compacting your subsoils when appropriate. You got the right subsoils for it, and it's saving a ton of just resources, time, money, of course, and it's good for the consumer too, because hopefully that stuff evolves to the point where our projects can come down a little bit in price, maybe, and makes it more approachable for everybody.
Right now, I've implemented it this year as much as I possibly could.
Absolutely, same here.
It hasn't changed my price of install,
and same here,
to the customer, because the cost of the unit itself is so high. Yeah. But it has saved me money on my end, which I eventually, like you said, if the cost starts coming down and we get efficient enough at it, we will be able to bring our cost down. Yeah. But just the labor savings
it's crazy. No trucking. I mean, hauling off soils and stuff. It's really good.
You go in and lay like you said, a 300-400 square foot pad. You probably got at least 10, 12, 14 yards coming out.
Absolutely.
Turn around, bring that all back in. You have to have a machine on site to do it. If you don't have access, it's all by hand or wheelbarrows. So the labor savings just creeps and creeps and creeps. And the fact too that you can carry in what is the equivalent of 2,800 pounds of compacted base material in one go.
Yeah, that's what's cool about that geosynthetic base, because it's a foam board about 2 foot by 3 foot, and it's I think 3/4 of an inch thick. Yeah. And so you carry in essentially 20 tons of base material under your arm, essentially. Like, it's really cool technology. And one of the things, I think I digress from it, but we did that install and that stuff 3 years ago, and I wanted to see it through a few Ohio freeze-thaw cycles. And the advocates of it are like, well, it survives Canada winters. Like, well, it's great. Canada freezes like once pretty much, it's over. Ohio, like, it's violent freeze-thaw.
Yeah.
It's like 40 cycles. It's
I know the one company's had it in Ottawa for 6 years now.
Yeah, right.
And in Ottawa, they get violent freeze-thaw cycles like you guys do in Ohio.
Violent maybe is an extreme word for it, but it seems like it though.
It's literally one day it'll be -40, the next day it'll be +2. Like,
crazy.
So, and they haven't had one claim warranty on any of the installations that have been done to spec. Now you're going to get someone that's not
spec, right? And
that's not going to do it to spec, and there's going to be an issue with it. But the guys that have followed their procedures and policies and how they want it installed, they haven't had any claim warranties.
Right, and that's what they're claiming. Yeah, and that's cool. And that's one of the reasons we want to do that one install, give it a few years, see how it goes. And we checked on it again. I'm like, all right, let's do this. Let's get serious with it.
Yeah, and that's what I'm turning away from traditional base installs. And anytime that I can utilize that synthetic base material, I'm totally doing it, because it's saved my company a lot of labor time, and I've been able to I put an extra 2 projects in this year because of it.
I could see that easily. Absolutely.
And maybe it'll combat that. There's this persona out there. I don't know if you guys have this too, that pavers are cheaper than concrete, because they think you can just lay the paver and be done with it. There's that to debate as well, as far as lessening the price of install. So,
sure.
Yeah. I don't know if you have that in your ear too.
Oh yeah. I mean, you hear it all, right?
You can find it out right on the phone.
Yeah.
Right.
I know you've been getting into doing a lot of concrete work.
Begrudgingly, but yeah.
Is there anything that you've done? Have you done any research into that you've found that there's things that can help reduce labor on that, or is that just a labor intensive?
Absolutely. Yeah, there's my joking term for concrete pouring is pain and suffering, or as you, and the only way a Canadian could put it would be a drum of fun, which I don't know. Like, you freaking Canadians, I swear, get the rosiest outlook on everything.
Yeah.
But I think it's awesome. The one thing we're looking at on the concrete end of things is we're going to be looking into like some power screeds, which looks like one of those little two or 4 stroke little tillers on handles. And there's it's like a screeder board.
Yeah.
And so stuff like that, say you'd be on your hands and knees,
right,
screeding out concrete. That's horrible. I dislike concrete work a lot.
Yeah.
But we're doing it on a commercial end for some drainage work on a good bit of stuff now. And but I'm wanting to get into that and mechanize that as hardcore as we can, because screeding concrete on your hands and knees with a 2x4 or screed board's rough, man. That's hard work.
Now you don't do lawn maintenance.
Not anymore. We got out of that 5 or 6 years ago now. Yeah.
And that's a big part of your business, right, Mike?
And we don't do concrete.
So here's a question for you.
I don't know who's smarter then. I really don't.
On the lawn end side, for the guys out there that only do lawn maintenance, what have you found again, back to the mechanizing and reducing labor, is there anything that you've been implementing in your lawn care business that has helped your employees reduce their labor time and be less fatigued at the end of the day?
Well, I don't know if it's a matter, I don't know if this is really answering your question, because all that we do is full service accounts. That means, anything that we mow, we take care of the mulch, the irrigation, the fertilization. And the reason for that is because of the labor issue. We had to cut back on all of our lawn care and everything because I couldn't implement the guys to do it. And for me to go out there and take care of those accounts, that's costing me more money because we can't go do the landscaping, So it was a balancing act there where a couple of years ago I had to cut down to just full service. And so now we have a couple days out of the week that we're out there. But I will say this automation coming up here, I think that, a lot of guys are scared about that. But I think as a business mindset that we should really be implementing that and just jumping on the bandwagon, because that's going to solve our labor issues, on down the road here. So when you can roll those in and out of the trailer from a computer sitting in your truck, I'm kind of dreaming big here, but I see that. I don't think. Yeah, I don't see that trend going away simply because of the labor issues. So nationwide.
And I mean, to touch on that, like you said, some guys are scared of the robotic mowers that are coming out. I don't think we need to be scared of it. Like you said, I think we need to implement it into our business, find a way to use that as a tool.
Absolutely.
To create more revenue for ourselves and free up your guys. If you have 10 guys working for you, and you can free those guys up to help you on paver projects, or you can take on more clients because now they have less time that they're spending at properties because the mower's doing 90% of the work for them. I think we need to, just like you said, it's not going away, so we need to jump on it and figure out a way to...
Or at least be cognizant of it, that it's coming through. Don't be like Kodak, the film company that was died because digital cameras came through, and they died with the film age. And so I think guys at least need to recognize that's got a lot of potential to be a major impact in the labor market and in the lawn care world and everything. I mean, you name it. Like robotics are going to be a big thing. A buddy of mine was just out in Silicon Valley, and he said there's Google self-driving cars everywhere out there. Yeah. And they're trying to get that going. Yeah. And I think
Tesla has their automation.
Yeah, they're not the only game in town, right?
Yeah, so Google's got self-driving cars already implemented. Yep. Oh wow, I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah, they got them running around all over out there, I guess.
Your house too, and I think the tech is not there yet as far as the striping is concerned. A lot of guys, that's the first question they ask. But if you've got a mower, and like Echo's mower right now is meant to stay on the same site for the whole season,
any of the robotic mowers, whether it's Echo, Husqvarna, anybody, they're all, I think, the same thing. It's a solo, standalone unit that stays on site.
Dedicated machine, right?
I was talking to the engineers at Echo when we were up there, and I asked about the GPS aspect of it, because right now it's just got the wire, the perimeter wire, and he said that's coming. We're not there yet, but if we can get that going where we can move these mowers that we're invested in, $15,000 or something like that for a single mower, not to have it on a single commercial property, and to be able to move that guy around. Now this mower, it's not intended for that. It's meant to keep it, what was it, cutting like a 1/4 inch off at a time or something.
Yeah.
But
it needs to, in order to cut that property that it's on, it needs to be able to be there 24/7 to maintain that length. It wouldn't be able to cut one day a week like we do now as lawn care operators. It needs to be on site 24/7 because it cuts for 2 hours and then it charges for an hour, and then it does that cycle 24/7.
But is that where it's at now? Because just simply the tech's not there yet, to where you can move these around to multiple.
It's the safety, because all that technology. I mean, you could put all that technology on a zero turn now. Yeah. I mean, combines and a lot of sprayer tractors and on the farms, like we were talking yesterday, is a lot of that stuff is nearly completely automated. So I don't know I think it's the safety issue. People are really scared of that. They don't want to turn a 30 horsepower.
I tried to get that puppy to run over my foot, and it wouldn't do it, Well, but yeah.
That's cool, but I think it's still just everybody's really scared of the liability. But the technology, I think, is totally there to do it on large machines. It's just the cost of it is probably not approachable, I would imagine, right?
But as we get there with I think it's more GPS oriented. I'm assuming, I'm not an engineer, but that's the way I see it, and if we can have a mower, learn a certain path around a yard to where we could stripe it so we can get that professional look. I think that's right around the corner for sure.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a wrap on what we needed to discuss, or what I wanted to discuss with you guys. Thank you very much, Caleb, and thanks, Mike, for coming out and talking to me for a little bit. So yeah, that's it for us for today. If you guys are in the area, come check out Echo's social media lounge here at GIE.
Place is legit, by the way.
Couches are coming.
Yeah, you can charge your phone. We'll do whatever you need to do.